Alright, today we are going to go over multiplying decimals and dividing decimals and whole numbers by powers of 10, which is, for our purposes, 10, 100, or 1,000. So this is actually quite an easy thing to do. Basically, so we have 4 and 68 hundredths times 100. So all I'm doing is I'm seeing that there are two zeros in 100, and I'm seeing that it's multiplying. When I multiply, all I'm doing is moving the decimal. When I'm multiplying or dividing by powers of 10, all I'm doing is moving the decimal, and I am multiplying, okay? And I'm moving the decimal, the amount of zeros next to the 1. That's all I'm doing. So if I'm multiplying, I move it to the right so the number gets bigger. If I'm dividing, I move it to the left so the number gets smaller. Now if you move it and you're multiplying and the number gets smaller, you moved it the wrong way. Or if you're dividing and the number gets bigger, you obviously moved it the wrong way. So if it's 4 and 68 hundredths times 100, all I'm doing is I'm seeing there are two zeros here, and it's multiplication, so I'm moving the decimal 2 places to the right. 1, 2. Okay? And then it just becomes 468. Right? Because the decimal was here. I hopped it once, twice, because there are 2 zeros here. Now we have 57 and 3/10 times 1,000. This is another multiplication, so we're moving it to the right. There are 3 zeros here. Now, I'm going to put this over here. Now, we have to hop 3 times to the right. Now, watch this. We have 1, 2, 3. But hold on. There are no digits here. So how are we hopping there? What we're doing is we're actually, anytime we hop and there are no digits there, you just add your own zeros. So 57 and 3/10 times 1,000 actually becomes 57,300. Okay? 648 divided by 100. Now this one does not have a decimal. Any whole number that doesn't have a decimal, there's actually an invisible decimal after the ones place. The decimal always comes after the ones place. So 648 divided by 100, we are dividing, so we're going to be moving it left, and we're hopping 2 times because there are 2 zeros in 100, so it's just 1, 2. And it becomes 6 and 48 thousandths. Now, we're going here, and we are going to, we're dividing, so we're going to move left. And we're only going to hop 1 time because there's 1 0 in 10. So 5 and 78 hundredths becomes 578 thousandths. Okay, now I added a 0 in the ones column here just to show that there's a 0 there, but technically I think that I would say that's proper notation, but if you just put a decimal here, technically it's the same number. But it's always good to just put a 0. Sorry, that one's a little in the column, but it's always good to put a 0 in the ones column if there's if it's just a decimal and you don't have any whole numbers. Alright, so this last one, 7 and 86 hundredths divided by 1,000. So we are going to hop 3 times, and we're dividing, so we're going left. So 7 and 86 hundredths. The decimal is here. We're going to hop 3 times. 1, 2, 3. So it is the same exact thing as up here. We have to add zeros here. So right now, we have to add zeros here, and then it becomes decimal, right? 0.00786. And as I said, you can always add the decimal in the ones place to show that there is nothing in the ones place. And this number, although you wouldn't have to know, this would be tenths, hundreds, thousands, 10,000ths, 100,000ths. So this number would be called 786 100,000ths. Okay? And each of these decimals can be written as fractions. So 578 thousandths is actually the same, and it's actually said exactly the same as 578 over 1,000. You would actually say this the same way. This is 786 100,000ths. 786 over 100,000. 6 and 48 hundredths. That would be 6 and 48 hundredths. Okay? So I hope this, I would say this is pretty easy when you learn how to move the decimal and which way to go. So hopefully this clarified things.